Hi, all. Welcome. I am so excited to see you all. Before we plan the new year, we have to understand what actually gets in the way. So, this is kind of what we're going to talk about is making a plan, celebrate where we have come, um, all of those things. So before we talk about food or movement or the new year, we're going to slow things down a bit. Today is not about doing more or being better. It's about learning how to support your nervous system through the holidays so you can actually sustain what you want next year. That is so important not to um, get derailed during the holidays, right? So let's start by bringing our bodies into the room. I want you to place your feet flat on the floor and let your hands rest wherever feels comfortable. Maybe one is on your chest, one is on your belly, just so you can work with your breath work. Um, so just let's close your eyes. And if that feels safe, or you can soften your gaze, whichever feels comfortable to you. So we're going to take a slow inhale through your nose. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4. Let's do that again. And as you're breathing, imagine roots coming out of your feet and going down into the ground. We're just going to ground for a moment and calm our nervous system down. I know we've all been rushing around. I know I was today, finishing my shopping, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to make cookies this afternoon. One more slow inhale through your nose. And then exhale through your mouth on 6 counts. Let your shoulders drop, unclench your jaw. Let your body know it doesn't need to rush right now. Just kind of loosen things up. This is your moment just to kind of relax and just notice anything, what your body may feel like without any judgment. Is it tight? Is it stiff? So let's just relax into it and then return our breathing to normal. So before um, the new year, we have the holidays, and that is where most people struggle with consistency because they're not as motivated as they should be. Sometimes it's just you're running like crazy, and so you're doing what's most convenient, but it's really not because you're like lazy or you're unmotivated or any of those things. It really truly is your nervous system. It never feels safe enough. And in order for you to sustain change, your nervous system has to feel safe. And so, of course, we're always going to have those ebbs and flows of our nervous system, which is normal. But most people are living above our window of tolerance in our nervous system all the time. And so then when you add in added stress, our nervous system is really peaking up high and it's coming way up higher than it needs to be or way below. Maybe if you don't like the holidays as much and you become complacent and depressed and those things. Um, so we really want to work to shift that so that we don't lose our progress of where we've come so far. So a lot of people live their life in fight or flight. And I think a lot of people aren't even aware they're in fight or flight, which is so toxic to our bodies. Um, when we are in fight or flight, our body is constantly looking for quick comfort. And when we're frozen or shut down, that motivation disappears super fast. And during the holidays, guess what? The stress, the emotions, the routines, and the changings of patterns really get loud in our heads. So if this is a time of year that feels hard for you, um, you know, don't shame yourself. Don't feel guilty. It's literally just your nervous system responding to that added stress that you're not used to. I'm just going to check and see. Um, So let's practice some simple things you guys can use anywhere, okay? So taking 3 slow exhales through your mouth, preferably, obviously, in your room full of people. I mean, you can still do it, but just 3 slow exhales. And then while you do that, you want to name 3 things that you can see. So if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling dysregulated or you're feeling overwhelmed, this is a really quick trick you can do just about anywhere is just take those 3 deep breaths with slow exhales and then name 3 things that you can see in the room. And at the same time, you're going to plant your feet into the floor for 10 seconds. And if you want, you can place your hand on your heart, depending on where you are. And in your head, just say, I'm in this moment. I am safe and I am calming down. Okay. This is regulation. It's not perfection, right? We all want things to come out perfect for the holidays. We want to get the perfect gift. We want to make the perfect food. We want to have the perfect parties, whatever that is. We want to eat perfectly. Some of us are more obsessed with the eating side, that kind of thing. We want to do our workouts perfectly. Whatever it is, it's about being present, not being perfect. And so just really slowing down and naming 3 things that you can see, which grounds yourself and putting your feet flat on the floor really will help your nervous system to regulate. Okay. So, some other things that we want to talk about that is so important during the holidays, and we kind of touched on it around Thanksgiving. We really want to talk about food without guilt, without rules, right? We want to be able to enjoy the holidays, enjoy everything. Now, that doesn't mean you need to go crazy and use it as an excuse of like, well, it's the holidays and completely derail where you've gotten. You still want to be mindful, but you still want to enjoy your holiday. So, it's not food that's the problem so much, it's the dysregulation that drives most of our choices. So when we really start tuning in with our nervous system and what's going on in our nervous system, you're gonna make better food choices during the holidays. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, it craves fast energy and comfort. It craves food that we shouldn't have. It craves, all of those different things that probably aren't the best for us, maybe alcohol, um, those cookies, or just eating and not being mindful, right? So, one of the tips, and we talked about this at Thanksgiving and hopefully it worked, is really try to get your proteins first when you're sitting down to a holiday meal. It's so important because what it does is it regulates your blood sugar and it reduces that emotional eating from the get go. And it's not about restriction, you guys. It's about supporting your body the right way and just basically reorganizing how you would normally eat during the holidays. Well, you should be putting protein first on most of your stuff, but it's really about paying attention to what goes in your body first. Of course, make sure you're drinking that water. Actually, I need some water. Hydration is hugely important because most of us are probably going to have a couple drinks, those kinds of things. And you want to make sure you're hydrating, hydrating, hydrating. Most of us are not getting enough water. Remember, you really want to be drinking half your body weight in water per day. If you're not there, you want to start gradually adding 10 to 20 ounces per day until you get up to that total, because then your body can acclimate to it a little bit easier. Okay. Um, so, Anchor one, we're going to create is we are going to anchor that we always eat our protein first. Okay. That is the first thing that you want on the plate. That is the biggest portion you want on the plate rather than a giant portion of chips or whatever that is. Get your protein, take a few bites of that first because it's really going to start working in your body to regulate your blood sugar and reduce those cravings. Anchor two would be you want to add before you subtract. Okay. So what this means is instead of asking, what can I cut out? Ask, what can I add? Can I add water? Can I add fiber? Can I add vegetables? to my plate before what can I cut out. So start filling your plate with those good things first, and then you want to eat for tomorrow, the tomorrow you, the future you. Really think about tuning in with that future self and the goals that you've aligned for yourself, and ask yourself, how do I want to feel after this meal? Do I want to feel overstuffed? Do I want to feel sick? Do I want to feel guilty? Um, None of those things serve what your goals are. And so just asking yourself that simply a lot of times will help um, you to make a better choice. Um, that could be you do it and set an intention every morning and kind of ask yourself if you know that you're going to a holiday party or what have you. Or you could do it right before your meal and just kind of think of it in your head. Um, but the biggest thing I want you all to know is you are absolutely allowed to enjoy food and feel good in your body. Both of those things can exist. Okay. It's not one or the other. It's not that you have to be strict and not enjoy somebody's homemade cookies or some almond roca or whatever it is. I love almond roca. I bought some today. And I am for sure going to enjoy it over the holidays. But I'm going to be mindful and make sure that comes after I've eaten some other things that are more nourishing to my body first. Um, a lot of people also overeat because they feel anxious. Again, most of those triggers goes back to our nervous system not feeling safe. And so it has to do with calming that anxiety and then actually asking yourself, why are you craving that? Or why do you feel the need to overeat? And recognizing those triggers. Just recognizing them alone is going to help you get through and help to calm down your nervous system. So movement, exercise, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be a little bit harder for some of us through the holidays, or we may have less motivation. But think of movement rather than exercise. Okay. You want to keep your body moving, even if it's for 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, 10 or 15 minutes at the night. It's communicating with your nervous system that it needs to function and calm down, and that movement really does help. Um, so if you are feeling anxious or wired, choose a gentle movement, maybe some stretches, some deep breathing, maybe just walking around a little bit. If you're feeling shut down or tired or just done, you just don't want to be around anybody, try doing a little bit of strength training, some squats, some weights, something along those lines. Or some other form of an energizing movement. I know it sounds like the worst thing you want to do when you're feeling like that, but I promise you, if you just give it 30 seconds to a minute, it will be amazing how fast your mindset changes. Okay. If you're feeling pretty balanced in general, like you're not up, you're not down, you're feeling like you're pretty well in your window of tolerance, just do something you enjoy. Just make it fun or enjoyable. Dance around your kitchen when you're doing the dishes, whatever it is. But keep your body moving through the holidays, even if you're not going to the gym, even if you're not doing full on workouts. Keep that habit of keeping your body in movement. You don't need to move harder. You don't need to work out harder during the holidays. You just need to move smarter and target those little goals. So for me, I'm definitely going to be religiously doing my arm workouts because I'm really wanting to build my arms so that I don't have loose bat wings. Because I've always had big arms, and as I lose weight, like that skin is getting looser, and I have really, really strong legs and I have strong biceps, but I don't have any triceps. So for me, my goal through the holidays is if I do nothing else, as long as I'm doing my arm workouts, I am happy with that. So even picking like a piece of your workout and just making it a goal or your daily non-negotiable to do that because that's going to help with your progress. It's going to help you feel accomplished, and it's also going to help regulate your nervous system. Could be yoga, could be Pilates. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. It could just be going on a short walk around your block if it's not freezing cold out. It could be, doing some leg lifts, just something simple. Try doing it 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, 10 to 15 minutes at night. That is really, really going to keep you on track. Um, so, little mini movements. So here's a little quick one you guys can kind of do, and it just kind of resets your nervous system again. So even if you're at a party and you're feeling anxious, you could even go in the bathroom and do this. So you'd stand up if you can. You're going to roll your shoulders and shake out your arms and just do 10 squats or marches just for a minute and finish with a deep breath in and out. Okay. Because just that little bit of movement and release will help regulate your nervous system. And it kind of gets your blood flowing and it gives you that little boost of energy. And so that's just an easy movement you can do. No excuses for this holiday season. Okay. Um, Long-term change is all about sustaining and moving through each window, or not window, but each little piece of our life and each little kind of hill we have to climb, or um, things we can confront. It's about doing small things to create big changes in the ends, and doing small habits every day and shifting those into a positive thing that supports our goals and supports our mental health and supports our mindset and our bodies. Um, so that's a quick one that it's just a little mini movement you guys can do. I love doing that. I do that actually pretty frequently throughout the day. And it feels good when you do it, and it doesn't have to be long. Um, so another thing I want to talk about is, before we talk about our goals, I want to ask you all something. This could be a journaling thing, a journaling exercise, and hopefully you guys are taking a moment to journal, at least a couple times a week. Right now, I usually do it in the mornings. Um, but I really want you to think about, who are you becoming next year in 2026? And what are you trying to fix or shift? Or I'm sorry, not what you're trying to fix, but what are you trying to shift? Because that's where our focus needs to be. When we focus on the outcome that we want, we're going to get there a lot sooner than when we focus on, like, oh, I ate too much at that party, or, oh, I didn't do my workout today. The more we focus on the things we don't want, the more things we don't want comes into our life. So this exercise is really, really important for 2026. And I want you all to figure out, who are you wanting to become, and be specific, not just with your weight loss goals or your body goals. Who do you want to become? Do you want to live your purpose? Do you want a more calm, regulated nervous system? Do you want more love in your life? Do you want a more fulfilling career? What are those things? And write them down and take some time with this. You don't have to journal all at once, but I promise you, when you start really looking at what you want, it's going to start creating a pathway in your brain to figure out how to get there. The trick to this, too, is really, as you're writing those things down, sit with it a minute and think about, how would you feel once you got there? What feelings would come to mind if you got there? And then let those feelings kind of wash over you. Would you be happy? Would you be free? Would you feel confident? Would you feel light and airy? And really sit with those emotions, because that is the number one thing that is going to help you get to those goals. When we start linking our emotions to the outcome we want, and we start focusing on those two things, our bodies are going to calm down, our metabolic health is going to improve, our cortisol levels are going to lower, our blood pressure is going to be better. And those things are so incredibly important to focus on, rather than focusing on the problems at hand. Okay. Super important. Um, Most people keep setting goals and then they go out the window. That's why there's the New Year's resolution. And this is not about that. A lot of people set goals with the intention of survival or with the intention of vanity or with the intention of scarcity, right? And so it's not about setting those goals. It's really, truly about setting an identity goal and figuring out the emotions and how the feelings would resonate if you shifted that identity. We all have different identities in different situations, but I want you to find out what identity and who you are and where you want to be. And that's a really big game changer as far as getting long-term success, long-term transformation is getting really, really clear on who you want to be and who you're becoming and the emotions linked to that. Okay. So let's do a little exercise. Let's take a moment and think about this. An old pattern you're ready to release, that would be a writer downer, and then a new identity you want to step into. Okay. Um, so an example might be I move from reacting to responding, right? Are we reactive or are we responsive? Sometimes I'm reactive. When my triggers come up, I'm reactive and I'm working really hard on instead of being reactive, being responsive and not reacting to the situation as if it's an old trigger. Okay, that's one of mine. Um, I move from all or nothing to consistency. How many of us go through our life with it's either all or nothing, right? I can either do all this and I'm going to get to point A to point Z, or I'm just not even going to try because I'm too afraid to fail. And failure isn't fun. But guess what? It's not failure, it's literally a bump in the road, and we just keep moving forward. The only failure is not trying and not trying to make those shifts. And as we make those shifts, what happens is we start making shifts quicker, we start catching triggers faster, and we start responding differently because we're rewiring the way our thought patterns are in our brain. And that is the biggest key to long term success. So for the new year, choose only three of these things, or choose three things to focus on. Not necessarily a goal on the scale, not necessarily more money, those things. What I want you guys to really focus on is choose one regulation habit, something that becomes second nature to you to regulate your nervous system. I also want you to choose one nourishment habit. So that would be like if you are constantly on the go or something along that line, it may be okay, I'm just going to meal prep, like not for the whole week, but just a few quick grab go meals or sorry, I have the hiccups. Grab and go snacks, something like that, that nourish my body and make it a habit. Or it could be drinking more water. It could be eating a little bit more protein or adding more plant protein in or whatever it is. And then also one movement habit. That those three habits are going to get you so fast to your goal, right? It's going to just really make a massive change and make those habits every single day. Each one should only take like 10 minutes or less per day. I'm not talking about some huge new routine that you all need to start. Small habits done consistently rewire your nervous system, and that is what we're talking about. Um, some affirmations that might be helpful is in the new year, I choose consistency over intensity, I choose safety over self punishment, and I choose regulation over reaction. I really love this. Um, I think it's a great affirmation or intention to set for the new year. Um, Write it down, look at it every day. Part of excuse me, part of having those daily non-negotiables that are so important to reach our goal is doing things like this. Putting that in your notebook or your journal or on a sticky note, whatever, so you can see it every day and see those goals every day. So again, that affirmation is in the new year, I choose consistency over intensity, I choose safety over punishment, and I choose regulation over reaction. How different would everybody be if we chose regulation over reaction? How different would our bodies process things? How much more in tune with our bodies would we be? And how much better would our metabolic function be if we were in tune with our nervous system and we were keeping it regulated most of the time? Um, so those are just some things to think about. I am really truly looking forward to 2026. I have some fun things coming out. We're going to work on some hypnosis. We're going to work on, I have a bunch of different kind of programs up my sleeve to try to help you guys. I am really, really excited to be working with everybody in 2026. And I will have some new programs coming out in 2026 and some good deals. So if you have friends that want to get in on it, please have them reach out. If you live in my area, we are starting a light therapy mixed with hypnosis that is incredibly powerful. We did a couple test run throughs, um, and wow, I was blown away how powerfully healing it is to do those two things combined. So be looking out for that. That's going to start on January 10th. Um, and I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful holiday season. Of course, I am here for you. I will continue to check in on you. I will continue to be in the school group daily, checking any messages. If you are feeling down, depressed, or you're struggling, please reach out. I am here for you to help you get back on track. If you have any questions at all, reach out. Have a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas. Those are backwards, but I like to think backwards. It's okay. All right. One final little word. You don't need a new body or a new life. You need a regulated nervous system that can hold the life you want. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself. I hope you have a good rest of the year.